Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this looks like an interesting setup. Dystopia Alliance have certainly brought something fun out of the bag. Let's just leave it with the commentators.
Alright, I'm Kill 2 with Angel Hun. We have Dystopia versus the Kadeshi, Day 4 of Alliance Tournament 8, and T-Rex Stork has brought one of the coolest setups so far in the tournament. One Rock, one Vulture, one Ferox, one Drake, a Basilisk, two Moas, and three Worms, and from the looks of it, they are all blaster fit.
A little bit speechless. That is fantastic. And from the Kadeshi, we have Sleipnir, 3 Cynoballs, 2 Vagabonds, a Tyrannus, and a Scimitar. Looks like a speed gank fit from the Kadeshi.
Yeah, now the range is pretty close. It looks like the Kadeshi came in pretty far, like 40 or 50k, and T-Rex right at the beacon at 50. So they got to get tackles. That's going to be the hard thing about this match for T-Rex and the rest of Dystopia. They have to be able to lock down some of these ships, and they're all so fast. It might be really difficult for them to do that. So we'll have to see. They have one ship, the Drake, at least shooting missiles. A lot of these ships, the Ferox and the Rock, get range bonuses on the blasters, but still hard to do much damage if you can't get a tackle. So as things get underway here, we're seeing the Basilisk on the Dystopia team take damage, while the Kadeshi so far, well, now the Sleipnir taking a lot all of a sudden.
That Sleipnir is heavily tackled. We see a lot of ECM drones coming from the Dystopia team. It's interesting, the Worms, not only a blaster ship, it's sort of like a mini Ishkur. It's essentially a faction Ishkur from the Guristas. Really an interesting type of ship that they changed with Dominion and the faction ship changes, and that Sleipnir goes down. A really hefty portion, and probably also wielding a gangling for the Kadeshi.
And it looks like Dystopia, even though they just lost their Basilisk, do have a Cinnaball tackled. If it continues like this, I really like Dystopia. Man, once they got that Sleipnir locked down, there was so much damage. Worms moving around fast enough to get tackled. The Cinnaball's going down pretty quick. Keep in mind, they are getting reps from this Scimitar, but it doesn't matter. Cinnaball going down rapidly anyway. A Worm taking a little bit of damage for Dystopia. Maybe Kadeshi realizing they have to take out that tackle if they want any chance at winning in the long run in this match.
It looks like the jamming drones for Dystopia are pretty fairly spread out. The Scimitar only has a handful on them. It looks like 4, I'm counting? No, 5. Whereas there's a lot of ECM drones being split between the Vagabonds, possibly to keep those Worms from getting tackles, and looks like that failed as one Worm explodes in a fire.
Oh man, another Cinnaball tackled. The blow has closing range. Ferox there too. He's going to go down super quick once the Rock gets a little bit closer and all these ships pile on. This is so awesome. T-Rex just became my favorite EVE player by bringing this setup.
This really is fantastic. I mean, who expects Blaster Caldari ships? One of the most improbable setups just became maybe the best setup that's ever been fielded in Alliance tournament history.
And that Cinnaball goes down. A Vagabond already webbed down here, ready to be the next target. Blaster ships will make their way across. Man, they're not even here yet, and he's already low shields. A second Worm taking damage for Dystopia. It doesn't really matter, though. I don't know. I don't think, even if Dystopia loses all their frigate tacklers, I still think they'd be able to win this match, spread the ships out. I'm sure some of them have some tackle. There goes another one of the Worms. So just one Worm left now, and Dystopia has everything else they started with except that Basilisk. And this Vagabond now starting to take a lot of damage. Again, they do have logistics support, but it just doesn't matter.
Yeah, once these blaster ships get in range, those neutrons will absolutely rip them apart. The Kadeshi not able to weather the damage, and I actually do feel quite bad for that, for the Kadeshi Scimitar pilot. He just seems completely ineffectual. The Dystopia team essentially ignoring him as he's really just not that important to them. They're really having their way with the Kadeshi with this blaster setup. It's really impressive. It actually has a fair amount of speed. It was interesting that they took that Sleipnir out, really slowed down this Kadeshi team.
And down goes that Vagabond. Just 2 more damage dealers really left. The Kadeshi Tyrannus is trying to kill this Worm. His damage is kind of pathetic, actually. He having a really hard time bringing that Worm down. The Worm's still hovering about half shields, and now the Scimitar is going to be the next target for this massive Caldari like Ownfest, and he's going to be down really shortly. He's repping back a bit, but I don't think it'll be much longer.
Yeah, this Caldari own blob is just fantastic to see in action. Blasters really get a bad rap. The Caldari able to field them quite well, usually getting a range bonus to them, so they actually outrange most of the Galente counterparts, though not necessarily doing the same amount of damage. This is a very, very unique, solid setup. I like it a lot. It looks like that with that scimitar down, the Kadeshi really don't seem to have much chance left. There's a huge portion of damage still remaining from Dystopia, and that Drake, probably thrown in just to anger us and Soundwave, but you know what? I'll forgive you, Dystopia, because those blasters are simply fantastic.
I love it. I love this setup. Two ships left. Scimitar did go down. Tyrannus down. Only one Cinnaball and one Vagabond left. I just think this is great. This setup is so cool. They have a lot of things covered, too, they didn't need in this fight. I noticed a lot of the ships, the Ferox, the Rock, they have ECCMs, they have sensor boosters and ganglinks. Probably not sensor boosters, actually, probably ganglink graphic. Cinnaball going down now. They also have all the ECM drones, so they have a chance to break up big logistics tanks and stuff just with the jam drone support. So very, very cool setup. This Cinnaball looks like he broke free of whatever tackle he had. He's taking a little damage still, but he'll be breaking range for a while. But really, Kadeshi, no ability to apply any damage anymore. If they get close, they get tackled and they go down. So just a matter of time, I think.
Absolutely, and I've been informed that the Drake is actually shooting heavy assault missiles, so he does have a similar engagement range to his mates. And also will be packing a number of webs, which is why that Cinnaball is really not going to get very far very fast. The victory for Dystopia is really just a matter of time, and probably sooner rather than later. Just the sheer amount of damage coming out of those Beloas, which, for those of you who don't know, are Blaster Moas, a T1 cruiser with all neutron blasters and mag stabs, is really quite impressive. They are a deadly, deadly underestimated ship.
I wonder about the ability for this Dystopia team to keep themselves in capacitor. I'm noticing now that almost none of their ships are still moving. The Vulture has been pretty steadily above over 1K per second, but most of the rest of the ships, a MOA every now and then doing a micro warp pulse and getting up to about 1500, but for the most part, all their ships are stopped, and I'm wondering if that's because they're sort of low on cap from speeding around for the rest of the fight, and if so, if that would be a weakness if they run into something like Rokapel. I think it was Rokapel's curse setup. So I don't know. This was awesome though, just fantastic. Still waiting kind of for them to get a tackle. It looks like one of the MOAs is sort of closing in on this Vagabond, although he's got to be kind of careful. Vagabond, if he gets that MOA isolated, could really kill him pretty easily.
It looks like there's quite a bit of damage coming into that blowout right now. I really don't think this is going to make a tremendous difference. The Cinnaball, I don't believe the Cinnaball or Vagabond will be able to break the Drake or the Vulture on their own. The Drake sort of the arch nemesis of the traditional roaming Cinnaball, which is really a pain because you see them so often. I think that Dystopia really has us comfortably in the bag. Just matter of time now. We're seeing a lot of jamming on the Cinnaball. Probably he's been locked out for quite a while. The Bloa and Claw calls an end to the fight. Back to you, Soundwave. Convincing victory for Dystopia.
Thank you very much, guys. That was certainly a bit of an alternative setup, but let's talk a little bit more about that because not everyone may not quite understand what happened here, but let's talk about that in a second. We have another match in 10 minutes. It's Cry Havoc versus Brick Squad. That should be a really good match as well. We'll be right back.